morning. We're in the middle of a Sicha, Pirkei, Perek Daled, printed in Chelik Yud Zayin. We're holding now Ois Ches. Der Tam Farvos Yeder Yid is mechuyev in dem Poyel Mamish for Ritza L'chol Dvar Mitzvah. The reason that every Yid is obligated to actually run to any mitzvah activity, Avos Piazar halt noch nit by dem Teichen Pnimi from the mitzvah, even though he's not holding and doesn't really appreciate the deeper significance, as we explained in the previous ice. And we gave the example, the Rabbi gave the example like the lead up to Kriya Shema, is well durch dem was Yid is sich margel zu laufen l'chol dvar mitzvah mit a simcha v'chayus bringt das Gufa dazu, as soll schneller und leichter zukommen zu die Darge von Ritzel Amitase a simcha v'chayus built in Migbelas in Avodas Hashem. Because once he conditions himself to run for any mitzvah activity, and he's doing this with joyfully and with alacrity and enthusiastically, ultimately this will lead the person to quickly and more easily reach the level of running to experience this unlimited joy and enthusiasm in Avodas Hashem. What do they say in English? Fake it till you make it. Was das is euch der Pirish? I should say what they say in America, not in English. Right, but there's something to it, because eventually when you fake it, how much it will have, like you said, was das is euch der Pirish in near the Faladas Hashem. This is also the explanation, what we say, near the Faladas Hashem, let us run to know Hashem. What's meant? Page 376, was made with Pashtus. Nit as the nirdefa is the teitzah mesuva from the dasas Hashem. When we say let us run to know Hashem, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that let us run is a result and an outcome of to know Hashem. Because I know Hashem, so now I'm running to Him. It's much deeper. Nor fakert as the nirdefa bring to ladasas Hashem. Usually you would think, okay, because I know Hashem, now I'm running, I'm excited. It says no. The nirdefa bring to by running, you're going to get closer to ladasas Hashem. Because the actual running nirdefa, let us run, that leads to that's going to lead to experience the level of, like you said, the higher level of divine consciousness. The mitzvah movement for us to reach the divine mitzvah state bigger by basic Knesset Kanal Siv Gimel. Now we can understand why in Shulchan Aruch, we said the Torah Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, why this is primarily stated in the context of going to a shul. Tefillah, which is tefillah. Tefillah is Avodah Shebelev, was Inyani is Ayid is sich mistabek zum Ebersten auf zukommen zu hechere Dages Avodas Hashem. What is davening? Davening is, like we say, it's Avodas Hashem, it's the service of the heart. Avodah Shebelev, the service of the heart. And its aim is for Ayid to foster a deep attachment to Hashem. And it's enabling him to reach a higher level in his Avodas Hashem. So he says, this is inside, Valzi, und der Fahr hebt sich an die Avodah von Nirdefa was bringt das Hashem, das mit der Ritzel Avodas Tefillah. And that's why the Avodah of Nirdefa, let us run, which we said leads to know Hashem, which we said is the higher level, begins with the act of running towards davening in davening. Why? Weil sie ist die Avodah Micheles zu der Griechen die hechere Dage von das Hashem. Because it's this unique form of Avodah that enables a person to attain this higher level of das Hashem. Und durch Avodas Tefillah wird aufgetan die Avodah von Nirdefa v'ritza by kol dvar mitzvah. So it's through the Avodah of davening that one will accomplish the Avodah of running. So basically, we're saying the nirdefa, you're running, which will bring you ladas Hashem. It's tafka in tefillah. Because Tefillah is Avodah Shebelev. That's the time when you connect with Hashem. So what are we doing? What's the first thing we do to connect with Avodah Hashem? We run. Where are we running? Dafka in davening. And that will enable a person, through running in davening, that will enable that will have it will segue into basically the rest of his day. Okay, Tess. Almost there. Und das ist der Uftu von der Hira von Haverat Chuli. Was stehen im Masechta Avos auf dem Din an Al-Shulchan Aruch. Now, he says this is also the Chiddush, the novelty that is accomplished that a person is meant to attain in running in Pirkei Avos, which is, we said there's a few dinim. Haverat, Ben Azai said the mitzvah kala kibachamura. And then, we asked, this is a din in Shulchan Aruch, you have to run for a dvar mitzvah. So what is the chiddush of Pirkei Avos? Zeireden wegen dem teuchen pnimi von der Ritza. In Pirkei Avos, they're speaking of the deeper significance of the idea of running. The zrizus, chayes v'simcha, bilti mikbelas, and avodas Hashem, was is an aveda gedela milsa de chasidusa. Now, what these lessons are speaking about, it's a deeper significance of the idea of running with alacrity, enthusiasm, and this boundless joy in the service of Hashem, which is a great aveda. As we say, this is the aveda in milsa de chasidusa, which that is what Pirkei Avos is all about. Nor in them gufa zayin dot tzvei fanim. This itself, it's in two ways. Aleph haverot lasis l'tzein avicha shebashamayim. The first thing is the running applies to Hashem. You should run to carry out the will of Hashem. Was die Ritza hat a Sheiches u jeder und der Fahr wird es gebracht euch in Tor in Alten Ebens. So, and this running applies to everybody. That's why in the Torah and the Shulchan Aruch, as mentioned before, is brought down because, like we said, the running to carry out what Hashem wants is it applies to every single yid. And then Beis, you have the Hira from Ben Azai, Haverat the Mitzvah Kala, was his nit shav l'chol nefesh, and then you have Ben Azai's running, which run to a minor mitzvah. It's not equally relevant to everybody. Now, the beer and them, what's the explanation? Yehudim and Tema, ret nit azay wegen der ritz v'simcha be'es asiyas hamitzvahs. Yehudim and Tema is not referring primarily to the running to mitzvahs and the joy felt while performing the mitzvah, nor wegen der ritza by their klalistik and mesira nesina v'asayid git sich iber zu avedas Hashem b'tchilas hayim. Again, Yehudim and Tema is not referring primarily to the running of the mitzvah and the joy felt while performing mitzvahs. He's referring to the running and the enthusiasm in the overall dedication and devotion that a yid has towards Hashem in his avodah at the start of the day. It's like before, we're talking about a very general overall dedication that he has to Hashem at the start of the day, even before engaging in any particular avodah. He says, it's like when we say Meida'ani immediately upon waking from the sleep, this represents the general acknowledgement and self-commitment to Hashem at the beginning of the day. That's why we asked before, why doesn't Yehudim and Tema say run to a mitzvah? Nor lasis l'tzein avicha shavashamayim. Was is the nikuda klalis von alin yanei avedishim meshachayim. That's why Yehudim and Tema doesn't use the expression of run to a mitzvah, but rather, what does he say? He says to carry out the will of Hashem, which is the general goal of all aspects of a person's daily avodah. And the base, das ist gestellt geworden in Arim for ganz Shulchan Aruch. Where does the Alter Rebbe place this at the beginning of Shulchan Aruch? Noch far dem Inge von Amir Meidani, even before the idea of Meidani. The Messiah Nesinah to Avedis Hashem, was Yehudim and Tema is Esim mit seiner Ra, is Amer Klolis to Gedah Messiah Nesinah feeling mer from the Hidah from Meidani, because Yehudim and Tema is speaking about is more of a acknowledgement and selfless devotion, which surpasses the Meidani. Und die Hisedus Klolis Avedis Hashem is Shaykh zu Yad Yid. in was for a massive soll nur sein, al derech yidua in einem Inyan from Midas Meidani, as a tampnim, wie was man sagt, es far Negelwasser und afilo Biadaim Tameis, is weil kol atume Shabba'ilam sein nicht mit Tamme dem Meidani von Ayiden. Kommt sein, kann sein a chosser bezeh or bezeh, aber der Meidani bleibt ganz. He says that this Yisrael's klalis, this inspirational lesson, how to serve Hashem, is really is shaykh to every yid. Doesn't matter what his spiritual state is. As it's known, the deeper reason why we say Meida'ani even before Negavasi, before washing our hands, is because because all the impurities of the world cannot defile the Meida'ani of a yid. A yid could be lacking in one way or another, but the Meida'ani, in other words, the pintel yid, that remains that remains intact by every yid. Yud. If them, so that's what Shulchan Aruch is speaking about. If them tutuf Ben Azai Ben Azai adds another lesson in Milad Chasidusa. What does he say? Mitzvah kala you should run to perform a minor mitzvah and flee from a sin. Even when a person is engrossed in a particular mitzvah. He's not even thinking about the general all-encompassing reason of the mitzvah. Was is gleich bei aller mitzvah is asher gedeshanim mitzvah vitzi van lasis litzene vichash vashamayim nor wegen der tegen school from the mitzvah pratis. So let's say this person, when he's involved, he's engaged, he's engrossed in a particular mitzvah. At that moment, he's not thinking about the general reason for the mitzvah, and he's like we say, Hashem who sanctified us with his mitzvahs and he commanded us to carry out Hashem's will. So what is he focusing on? He's focusing on the minute, the specific. He's focusing on the benefit of that particular mitzvah. Was der far filter wie das is a mitzvah kala. And that's why he feels it's like a minor mitzvah. So why is it a minor mitzvah? Because it's like a very praktistic mitzvah. He's thinking about that specific mitzvah. He's very like laser focused, that mitzvah, that benefit. Now for Yidden Perlin by Zich, as he soll getan werden, and even for Rotz, mit a simcha v'chayis built him. So even though a person is very stuck on that specific mitzvah, it's still incumbent upon this Yid to excite himself to perform the mitzvah in a manner of running, with a sense of enthusiasm, with a chayis which is built in Mugbelas. Wie montes bei an Azai by Yidden, as er teichen v'inyin prati van a mitzvah, was the cher an in so how can an Azai demand of a Yid that a particular mitzvah, which seemingly is limited and measured, should make a person running and surpass all the limitations and boundaries? Is therefore was das is given ben Azai hanaga bechlal, because this was his mode of conduct in general. This is how he functioned. He was very involved in the idea of running, escaping. That's why Ben Azai, he never got married, right? We learned in Seita, he never got married. He said, he was so in love and engrossed with the Torah, he felt that, actually there's a shita that Ben Azai, remember in Seita, Ben Azai was married to Rabbi Kiva's daughter. And then they got divorced because he was so engrossed in Torah, he couldn't handle, he thought it was going to be, his daughter took lead from her mother, who sent away Rabbi Kiva for years. Same thing Ben Azai, but Ben Azai came back and he snapped, but he couldn't handle both. That's why the Gemara says in Chagiga that there was 4 people that went into the Pardes and he couldn't handle it. So Ben Azai was extreme. Ben Azai was somebody who was not the norm, not the regular. He was his level was in a way of running, escaping from the world. My high time is in Yonei Tikkun, Asiyas Mitzvahs, given an Eifim for Ratzah. So even Ben Azai's service, even in matters of tikkun, performing mitzvahs, was also carried out in a way of ratzah. As der Herr dem Goyel han imus arivus mitikus b'loshen arachaim hakadosh to gabi der ratzah von die Shnei bnei Aaron, was is da in mitzvahs, was das ruft der Reis aritzu v'simcha kima mitzvahs beifen bilti modu du mugbal hechar filu von nagbalas von der eigenen nefesh alikis. So he says that he experienced this great pleasantness, the sweetness as Orach Chaim says regarding the Ratzah of the two sons of Aaron, which exists in mitzvahs. This inspired him to run joyfully to fulfill mitzvahs in a limitless manner, even exceeding the limitation of his own soul. Und damit is verantwortlich Farvos da pas nit der Lashon Heverotz lemitzvah kala kibbe chamura. Now we can explain why we asked why doesn't the Pirkei Avos use the expression of you should run to mitzvah kala kila chamura. Weil die ni'imas for mitzvahs was ruft areis die ritz mitzvahs is mitzadem teichen prati shebachol mitzvahs. So why do we say that you should run? Now we can explain why the wording "run" to perform a mitzvah as a major it's not. We don't say that. Why? Because we're speaking about the pleasantness of mitzvahs that is by the particular of each mitzvah. So, and therefore the pleasantness of a minor mitzvah is not the same as the pleasantness of a major mitzvah. The ikar uftu in is hevel ratz the mitzvah kala. The chiddush of his teaching is expressed by run for a minor mitzvah. As rafilana mitzvah kala is done. The imas built in migbelas that even a minor mitzvah this holds a pleasantness and which is boundless. Was therefore darf sein die ritza euchen as a mitzvah. Okay, last sif. Yud Aleph in the Herren the Tayakite. In the Herren the Tayakite in imas for mitzvahs can sein zwei fanim. So this pleasantness of a mitzvahs can be sensed in two ways. Aleph the Herren goydan imas was da in the mitzvahs atzman kirvas alikim teiv. A person senses the great pleasantness in mitzvahs themselves. The closeness with Hashem is good. Kirvas alikim li teiv. It's good for me to be close to Hashem. He feels it. And beis at the heart was nafshei alikis vet von dem haben kirvas alikim li teiv. So first thing is he senses the pleasantness in mitzvahs himself. Closeness with Hashem is good. Number two, he senses that he, in other words, his divine soul will experience that closeness with Hashem is good for me. Und das sind die zwei Timen, was Benazi sagt für was es darf sein, have a the mitzvah cholish, mitzvah gereres mitzvah, and sheskar mitzvah. And this explains the two reasons that Benazi gave why one must run to do a mitzvah and one leads to another mitzvah. We said that we should run to a mitzvah. Why? Because mitzvah gereres mitzvah and schar mitzvah mitzvah. Hatam ikri beneged the ni'imus was is da in their mitzvah gufa mitzvah gereres mitzvah. Their grade on imus mitzvahs is das was sie is gereres mitzvah. Sie bringt them tzavs v'chiber von jedem mit den He says the main reason regarding the pleasantness of a mitzvah, one leads to another mitzvah, the great pleasantness of a mitzvah, is because it leads to a mitzvah. It creates a connection, a bond between a Yid and Hashem. Since Ben Azai is teaching a lesson for those who have not reached the level of being close to Hashem is good, is the Ribber Meiser Sheskar Mitzvah. Now, Ben Azai, he's teaching a lesson also for those who have not yet reached the level of being close to Hashem. Furthermore, he taught this lesson even for a person still at the initial state of his Aveda, and who therefore only does Aveda when he feels it concerns him. So what does Ben Azai say? The reward of a mitzvah is a mitzvah. Euch der Schar for mitzvah, was Schar is Azach, was der Odom filled as hot von dem verdient. Now, what's a reward? A reward is something that a person feels he can earn something. It's a mitzvah. Is mitzvah was bei hefzich mit den Eberstein bei even as fehlt an imus built in migbalos gedo being schar mitzvah bei amaleka was schar mitzvah is bli gevol and elam can nit mechel sein dem gedel askar. So even the reward for performing a mitzvah, something that a person may feel he has earned, is itself a mitzvah. In other words, he's connected with Hashem in a way that he feels a boundless pleasantness. As commonly understood, as we know, there's no reward in this world because the reward for mitzvahs is limitless, and this world does not have the capacity to contain the great reward. On the Liber, is schar mitzvah dar zayin ritza. Therefore, in order to receive reward for a mitzvah, it's necessary to be in a state of running, bli medidus v'agbalas, surpassing all boundaries and limitations. Okay.